before you watch this video, whoever you might be, I wanted to give you a little bit of heads up about it, because first of all, I wasn't happy. I just recorded the video like a few minutes ago, and I wasn't really happy with it. I saw at the timer, and I was like, first of all, it was like, it's too long, and I wasn't really happy with it. There's no structure. There's no real content about it besides just me remembering myself locked indoors for 4 years, but the video goes nowhere. And the reason why I am still making it is because it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing that probably only I am going to really know, like maybe a few years from now, and I might like to have it archived, to have done something with it, and to remember, to look back at it. It's stuff that I do. I've never done stuff like that, like that on video, but it's just stuff that I do. Ever since I was a kid, I've done shit like that, and it's sort of a personal thing. Whenever I cope with things, my way to cope with things, I've been going through like a lot of stuff lately. These past months, pretty much like everybody else, but I've been going through some stuff lately. It's not that bad, really, but still. Basically, I've been going through some melancholy and shit, and I've been remembering stuff. Again, it's not that bad. It probably sounds a little bit worse than what it actually is. The way I cope with things is by doing creative stuff, by creating and just like expressing myself, I guess, even though it sounds cheesy, but I do it. That's what I do. And what I've been, and I discovered like doing videos, so I've been doing that lately. And basically, probably I'm the only one who's going to really get this like in a few years from now, and I feel that I might appreciate like having it archived and having like done something with it, maybe see what I did with it, and maybe see what I've changed, or I don't know, whatever. So that's it. I'm going way too long again. So that's it. Pretty much, I warned you. This video is going nowhere. You're most likely gonna get bored. So that's it. Bye. 4 years of my life spent locked in home. Yeah, it's something that for the most part of my life I kind of forget that it actually happened, but yeah, it's something that actually happened. This most likely a thing that I would have never talked about, or like even kind of remembered that it happened. Like I usually never really. It's just something that was just left behind, sort of, and not really addressed. Like I don't really like. It's something that I just kind of forgot about. It feels almost like it didn't happen, except when I remember it and it's very clear, and I'm like, oh fuck, it really happened. It happened from 2002, from the span of 2002 to 2006. If it wasn't for my mom and something like one fateful day that she said she did something, I probably would. Who knows how much time I would have spent indoors. I was living with my parents, like, because how old I was. I started it around 12, 13, something like that. It ended around when I was like about 16, 17. I don't remember right now very clearly, but yeah, this whole thing that everybody's going through right now has started making me relive like how it was back then. By lockdown, I don't mean like I was locked down indoors at my house 100% of the time. I would go out to the store like once in a while, and maybe we would go to like visit family, maybe like once a year or something, once or twice a year, maybe once in a while, and that was it. I remember first of all, like, what happened? Maybe I should talk about that. What happened? How did that affect me? Like, well, I lost all friends. Now that I'm remembering about it, it's coming back to me how I had like that feeling of having like zero friends at all, besides my sisters and my parents. I had no contact with anybody. Well, besides the occasional visits to like family. Aside from that, I had nobody, and I remember the sense of loneliness. I feel lonely now, but the sense of loneliness that I had back then was unlike anything else that I've ever experienced. It happened during a very like how do you call it? A very important state of everybody's life when you're developing like the social skills that you're going to have to start using when you're going to eventually turn into an adult. So I didn't develop like any of those, and so when I came out of the house and I started like socializing and like just going outside to the world again, I was basically on zero. I was like so clueless and so cringy. I wasn't aware of it really that much. I was kind of aware of it, but not that much. When it was happening, I'm like in those times. But now that I remember, I can't help but cringe on like the kind of person that I was. Like I sort of vaguely remember my old Myspace account, which I was trying to look up like a few hours ago. This is what I'm talking about. This is pretty much why I am doing this, because like these past few weeks, I have just been reliving so many of those things that I lived around those times that it's a little bit overwhelming. It's not all that bad because I actually developed a lot of creativity back then. If I like it or not, that state, that whole era that I lived back then was what made me what I am today. So, well, a lot of people like a lot of people like let's just say that they tell me, or they had let me know that I'm sort of different. No, they have no idea. I had a different life. What can I say? It's not just something that came out of nowhere. I'm losing track of what, like, maybe I should do this video later on with in a more structured way, in a less improvised way, because it's like 1 a.m. right now, and I can't sleep. Is anybody experiencing that? I guess it's just stress from like not making like stress from like work and shit like that. Because sometimes I just can't sleep. I'm usually not somebody who has a lot of trouble sleeping. Also, it's like summer right now, and I can't stand summer. The heat just like, I don't know, it just messes me up. I can't sleep because when it's too hot. What was I talking about? Okay, so I spent 4 years of my life locked indoors voluntarily. It made me very awkward socially, and I struggled to adapt. And what does it have to do with anything right now? Well, I have been reliving that like a lot of those things. I've been like listening to old music that I hadn't listened to in like pretty much a decade. It gives me goosebumps it gives me fucking shivers to think that it's been almost a decade. Like, for example, since I listened to Radiohead, But yeah, I'm fucking addicted to Radiohead again. I've been trying to look for my old Myspace account, and I wanted to see it again. It's not there anymore. It's gone. I found like my old presentation accounts, my old presentation cards from when I started my career, like illustrating and shit. They had my old MySpace username. That's how I remembered what it was, and I looked for those cards because I suddenly had an urge to look for my old MySpace. Sadly, and probably fortunately too, it wasn't there. I don't know if I would have been able to handle like seeing my old MySpace again. Yeah, and I've been like super creative again. The same way I was when I back in those times. I probably hadn't been as creative as I was back then. That's one thing that was good about it. I had no cable TV, just like public TV, and no internet. We had no computer or internet in the house, and I only had a Game Boy and a PlayStation 1 with like 5 games. And those were my distractions back then. Besides that, I would write and draw and paint and like I don't know, make shit like that. And that was my life. Nowadays, I'm starting to like relieve those things. Except I'm more distracted now. I'm more distracted with like making money and like now I have internet. I'm always like watching YouTube videos or shit like that. But still, I'm as creative as almost ever. Probably in some ways I'm more creative now because I am more mature now and I'm able to like focus techniques of creativity that I've developed over the years. Instead of when I was a kid when it was just all raw and I would just do whatever aimlessly. So there's that. But yeah, I've been sort of having all these fucking deja vus. And it's been a little bit overwhelming. A lot of memories of what happened. Not so much memories. This is the thing. This is why I almost like didn't make this video because I'm not that much like affected from like what happened during my lockdown, and more of like sort of affected of what happened later, because I feel that the most important thing that happened was later, when I was sort of exposed to the world, and I was when everything like hit me, and I couldn't adapt, and I couldn't sort of grasp the world around me, and I couldn't take it, and I struggled a lot, and I had a lot of troubles. Let's just leave it at that. a lot of things happened that were really the things that turned me into what I am today, the person that I am today. And maybe I should like try to dissect and talk about what was my process of adapting, maybe, instead of talking about like how I spent 4 years of my life in my room, basically. I don't know. I should think about that. But I just thought this was like a thing that maybe I want to keep on record. Something that happened, like not everybody, not a lot of people experience, and I did, and maybe I should do something with it. I mean, I kind of have been doing something with it, but not consciously, not being very aware of it. But I think maybe I should like try to go back to it and see exactly what happened and maybe what could be done to maybe prevent it to other people, or if you go through something like that, maybe how I eventually got over it, and I don't know, became a sort of more I want to say adapted person, maybe. I'm not sure. That's for other people around me to tell, probably not me, because you have one notion of yourself that is probably not always the notion that everybody has about you. Nobody really says, and like nowadays, now that I'm fucking 33 years old, nobody really thinks of me that, like, of somebody who is like socially inept or something like that. So I guess that's good, maybe. I mean, I don't really socialize with a lot of people, but when I do, there's not really that many. There's not many, a lot of problems. But that wasn't necessarily the case throughout, like, almost a decade or so. Now that I think about it, my life was a fucking trip. Oh my god. I'm remembering a lot of things. Damn, I even ended up in medication and hospitals, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Damn, it's been a trip. In a weird way, I'm kind of glad that everything that happened, even though if I had to relive everything again, I'm not sure if I would be able to handle it again. Anyways, I have been talking for